In any personal injury case, time is of the essence. As soon as that injury happens, the clock starts ticking on the statute of limitations. And what the statute of limitations is basically a law saying you only have so much time to file your lawsuit. So for example, in Missouri, there is a statute of limitations in medical malpractice actions. You only have 2 years from the date of your injury to file your lawsuit. Otherwise, you are barred by law from pursuing it. So even if you are really hurt and it is because of negligence, if you're outside of that 2-year window, you can't pursue your damages. Now, the statute of limitations issue can be particularly tricky for people who don't know and can't know that their healthcare provider made some sort of error. And so we often see this with patients who go in for some sort of MRI or some sort of radiologic imaging, and they're told by their doctor, you're good to go. There's nothing wrong with you. Go on living your life. And then they find out 4, 5, sometimes more years later, it turns out that imaging wasn't read correctly and you have a disease. Often it's cancer. Now, what does that patient do? They had no idea that their doctor made that mistake 4 or 5 years ago, but the statute of limitations would typically say you only have 2 years to file your lawsuit. Now, in Missouri, we have what is called a tolling statute, which means that the actual statute of limitations doesn't begin to run until you either know about the negligence or, and this is where it gets tricky, in the exercise of ordinary care should have known of the negligence. Because that language can be difficult to parse out and it's very fact specific, you want to hire an attorney who understands that and can really look through the facts and will act quickly to make sure that that statute, if it's still available, isn't blown. Whenever I have a client come in for a potential misdiagnosed or misinformed case, the first thing I do is go in depth with them into their medical history. Tell me everything you know, everything you remember, every provider you have ever seen, and then we immediately begin ordering medical records. That way we can start performing our own investigation and going through and seeing what exactly happened during this extended time frame. And by doing that, we can pinpoint this is the date when the statute began to run, and this is the last moment we have to file it, and this is how we make sure that if there is a case here, our client has an opportunity to get some sort of compensation for their injuries. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you believe that your diagnosis should have come sooner, but it didn't due to some sort of medical error, call one of the attorneys at the Simon Law Firm immediately. Time really is of the essence, and you want to get a hold of an attorney. That way we can analyze your case and get you an answer as soon as possible.